Alright, time for the third battlefield here. And for the first time, I'm able to bring a full, I guess, not SR team technically. I guess three of these units are technically SSRs, but they're freebies, so it sort of counts. Because thanks to the addition of Lisa, I can I can run all five units as either freebie or SR units. So this map actually is surprisingly, uh, it's pretty small, I guess. The idea here is that they're trying to pressure you immediately with all these enemies, and the easy way around the one of the easy ways around this is to just run some calves. And in this case, I'm running Parn here, obviously, with dragoons. The only Lancer you have to worry about on this map is that Lava Titan, which will be taken care of by Chris and Matthew. Parn can go around and kill these orcs. The orcs are pretty scary. They have their movement constantly goes up, so you can't just dodge them forever, and they hit really really hard and they can stun you. So I can just rely on Parn here to have dragoons and go full power into them and can kill them pretty easily. So Lisa is still 2 stars right now. I just got her. So she's really not doing much yet. But she can still help chip down certain enemies. And since this enemy is a demon, Chris doesn't have too much trouble finishing it off. Because annoyingly it does a lot of damage using the terrain on turn 1. It wasn't guaranteed for me to be able to one-shot it unless I brought Chris's 3C skill, which I really didn't want to do because of how long the cooldown on that is. I also brought Forest Priests on Almeida instead of Fighting Monks. Fighting Monks would have allowed her to be able to kill this Lava Titan on the counter, but because of the debuffs from the Spider on turn 1, I really wanted to be safe and bring Forest Priests so I didn't get some annoying debuffs like Buff Block on Parn or something. Well, I mean, the Spider was casting Decay anyway, so I was gonna get buff blocked either way. So Lisa isn't really doing much here aside from doing some minor healing, chipping down some enemies so others can finish them off, and she even provides some healing. And the map isn't too bad for her because there's a lot of grass tiles for her to have her talent active on. This goblin is really scary. His first attack with the AoE will steal a bunch of buffs, which will do basically no damage. But once he does that, he'll have 10 trillion stats, and then he'll be really hard to kill, and you'll one-shot most of your units. So it's better to just stay away from him and kill him like I did. So what's left are these 2 annoying ballista. They have enhanced range, but the thing about it is that the ballista themselves have like base 4 or 5 range, I forgot, but the shinobi actually have base 2 range, and the ballista gets a buff at the end of the turn that increases their range by 3. So what that means is that even though you can see this threat range is really big, and he actually does more. He has increased attack the further away the opponent is, but the thing is that the shinobi only have 5 range because they have a base 2 range and then plus 3 from the buff. So if you stay far away enough, even though he has a bunch of attack, he's gonna end up doing less damage at a distance like this. Especially since I have Last Rites on Chris to soak up the hit here. I don't have to take the hit from Shinobi. So what it ends up being is that if I actually ran up to like say 2 spaces in front of the ballista will end up actually doing more damage to me at that range than he did at like 6 range here, because he doesn't get to have his soldier attack at 6 range even though he gets a ton of extra attack. My soldiers will just soak up most of the damage. Yeah, I don't really have to worry about it. Now, just like with any other archer, they do prioritize hitting units that have... well, first they prioritize melee units, so Chris was able to soak up the hit because she was the closest melee unit. And if all else fails, Matthew, it will be their priority target. If I really, really needed to sacrifice Matthew for some reason, because Matthew will pretty much just get one-shot by these guys. Nothing really else to say here. Just gotta take out this last ballista. And I can move on to the Strategic Masters clear. You can see I didn't engage there just because I didn't want to like take advantage of the Tenio breeze I got. If I wanted to take advantage of that, obviously I could have just reached it and killed it. Alright, so Chris soaks up the hit again. And another reason that the ballista does way more damage in if you're too close to it is because their sniping skill, or I believe it's snipe, but it is also 2 range, 2 base range, so +3. He'll be able to use a skill attack if you're at 5 range or below. So that's another reason why soaking up the hit while you're further away, you'll take way less damage because all you can do is a normal attack using just a hero. So, nothing to say here, just Parn finishing it off, so... Protagonist team, go! Okay, so next is Strategic Masters, and like I usually say when it comes to Strategic Masters, the Strategic Masters clear is basically just an Empire clear because basically every unit you can use in Strategic Masters that's a freebie is an Empire unit. I mean, there are some exceptions, you know, there's like Serena and stuff, but there's just no reason to use most of them. So this time I want to line it up so that this infantry will come in and sword stance me on turn 1. And because the spider moves before the infantry, I can place Egbert where I placed him and not have to worry about the spider being able to reach me and use an AoE. Otherwise, like if the infantry moved first, the spider actually would have been able to reach me with an AoE. So making the infantry move there allows me to just reach the spider with lance here. I can just finish off the spider before it does any annoying terrain debuffs, which is just very, very, very irritating. Okay, so since Egbert took damage the last turn, he has a 3 range attack right now, so get some fixed damage on this infantry. You'll also notice that I brought Yggdrasil Wreath on Egbert. This is purely so I can, you know, protect myself against the stun from the Orc Berserkers. And of course, if you don't have a good Yggdrasil Wreath, you can just use Sage's Hat. It's always a good thing to have around. Right. I'm gonna use the Blazing Illusion here. So this goblin is really annoying, right? He's, as you'll see, he's going to steal a bunch of my buffs. The one upside to the goblin is that he actually doesn't have a guard pierce skill. Alright, just healing people back up. One weakness of the Empire and Strategic Master faction is that they don't have very strong healers for amongst the freebie units. I mean, you do have Iris, but Iris is a collab unit, so as usual, I try to avoid using the collab units if I can. Here comes the goblin. As you can see, he has like 2,300 attack because of all the buffs he stole from me. Thankfully, Vargas is incredibly tanky. He's still able to take it. Nothing left but to run over there and take out the ballista. So yeah, that's it for the Strategic Masters cleared. I don't really have a lot to say here. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, fixed damage from Egbert is still really nice to have. Fixed damage from any character, really, in PvE challenges like this, where it's about killing in a group of enemies. It's still very powerful. It's not as good on boss fights, but here you can see just Egbert did a lot of work here. You know, not just defeating the enemies, but just whittling down their soldiers so that to make sure the tank can take all the hits. So yeah, that's really all there is to say. See you guys in the next one.
きなさい。承知いたし。どうぞ。